Hello plant parents, welcome to the brand new episode of Know Your Plant, where I talk about the A to Z of every plant. So right from its care to its benefit, you know it all in these episodes. And if you want to keep knowing more about it, and on today's plant, which is a jade plant, keep watching this video till the end. But before you do that, you need to do one thing for us. You need to click on the subscribe button below and hit the bell button so you keep getting these updates and every time know about your favorite plants and A to Z of that. So don't miss any of them. Just do that and also follow us on the Nurturing Green Instagram handle. Okay, let's start and talk about our very famous, very own jade plant. So basically jade is a family of succulents basically, and these are one of the most hardiest plants in the world, and as what succulents and cacti are basically. So their leaves, they're also known as button plants because their leaves look like a button and they are in the shape of a button. Commonly, as I said, jade is a very common name and it's a very famous outdoor plant, especially in the northern parts of India. And even in other parts, this is one such hardy plant which even if you ignore it, don't take care much about it, it thrives on its own. Very easy to propagate, grows really fast and multiplies on its own, so you don't have to buy them regularly around it. So to begin with, as I said, that's the name, it's an outdoor plant basically. And some of the benefits of this plant is it creates a beautiful topiaries which are there. So, you can give them various shapes. You can make a bonsai out of it. You can give them different various shapes of a topiary, for example, in shape of a ball, etc. And also you can use it as a creeper. So what happens in a creeper is it goes down, like you can see in this plant, it's going down. So the creeper is where the plants can be used for putting the sills down and showing the creep side of it. So that's the use. It's basically an ornamental plant, comes, as I said, from the succulent family. So succulents are those plants basically which were primarily came out from the deserts areas or any such places where there was scarcity of water. And from their own nature, what they started doing is they started taking more of the water in the leaves because they didn't know when the water will be next available. And that's why if you take any of the jade leaves and crush it, you will see a lot of water inside it. So that's why it becomes so hardy, and that's why the succulent features in terms of non-care comes to them also by inheritance. In terms of the care, I think if I look at the 4 aspects which we always talk about, the first is the water. This plant, as I said, comes from a succulent family and doesn't need much of the watering. So in case you overwater it, is the only time when you will kill it. Underwatering has most of the times never killed this plant. So even in summers, it can take 3 to 4 days of outdoor heat and can survive without even watering them. So every time when you water it, make sure you do a very good watering so that the water comes down and drills down from the hole so that all the roots are wet enough. The next time of watering, which is when to water, is only when the leaves, when the soil or the media gets dry out. Again, depends on weather to weather. If you are in North India and in summers, you might have to do it thrice or maybe twice a week. But comparatively, it requires or can sustain lesser water also. Doesn't prone to, even if you sort of miss the watering schedules, they do good and it doesn't affect the growth of the plant. But ideally, obviously, you should have a schedule and keep following that depending on the weather conditions and how the humidity levels are there in your places. So in terms of watering, put less water. Make sure that you don't kill it because of the overwatering. In terms of placement, this is not an indoor plant, so you can't put it indoors. It has to be outdoor. It likes shade also, so it can survive in outdoor, semi-outdoor areas also. So a shade like this, but it needs a very bright light. The more the light, the more the heat, the better it grows. So just remember that it comes from a desert family, from a succulent family. So they are really hardy. and they can take extreme heats also, extreme temperatures also. Doesn't like frost, so anything below 5, they don't like it. So in winters, what you have to do is, in terms of placement, you take it inside a bit and put it in a semi-outdoor conditions where you have some shade. So maybe it's your porch or your balcony where you can keep this, but it should have a shade above, so the frost or the fog doesn't destroys the leaves there. So that's from the placement perspective. You can keep it outdoors and most of the time. From the soil perspective or a media perspective, we have done both of these things in soil, by the way. You want to see how they respond and how they grow. So we have started doing this just a month back only, and seeing the response. And I feel, and I can see the new leaves coming in. So again, they can do both in terms of coco peat also and in terms of soil also. You can do the mixing also in equal things. Again, nothing happens to the jade plant. Ideally, a lot of people, we should mix vermicompost, your coco peat and soil in equal mixes. Also, it does good. But in case you don't have access to the media, you can use just the soil, and they do perfectly well there also. So in terms of media, they are again very, very strong and doesn't react if there is less porosity in the media or high porosity. तो ज़्यादा अगर air नहीं भी जा रही है उसमें जो coco peat में जाता है, let's say, still it will do good around. And the fourth aspect of care is around the food, and so this requires obviously food, and a lot of people ignore the food also, and still they thrive, by the way. And you must have seen across various building and offices been वो टॉप फ्लोर पे रखा हुआ है, बहुत टाइम से उसको पानी नहीं दिया है, न्यूट्रिशन नहीं दिया हुआ है, एंड स्टिल दे आर थ्राइविंग वेल. बट इफ यू रियली वांट टू क्रिएट अ हेल्दी jade plant, you got to make sure that you have a good nutrition. And as I always say, you should use the slow releasers, because that's the best type of a food you can give to your plant. So Basicot, 2 to 3 teaspoons every 6 to 8 months, good enough to be put into this. And once they go down and become smaller and smaller, you can obviously repeat the process. You will see it's doing really good. So that's from the care perspective. A lot of people have also asked in their No to Plant that we should talk about the propagation also of the plant. So in this plant, in the jade, if you talk about the propagation, basically they're very easy to propagate. You just simply what you have to do is just take this cutting of it, put some rooting hormone preferably, and put it in the soil, and the new sprouts will start coming in. Right? And they can multiply like anything. We have multiplied them in various forms and various types and various sizes from these small cuttings only, and they have grown very well. So it takes almost 15 to 20 days to get the new roots, and once the root comes in, you have a plant ready which you can put it into a bigger pot, and they start multiplying again. So that's from the propagation side. They do it from the stem cutting, and it could cut it from anywhere, from the top tip part of it, and put some Rootex or some root hormone so that the roots grow faster enough into the media, and you will see the roots coming in 15 to 20 days itself. You can also put it in the water also. There also the propagation of the roots and the new roots can come in, but prefer to do it in the soil or a media, because that's where it sort of gives a better response. So that's the propagation also from the jade. In case you have any other doubt or you want to know anything about jade, just put your comments below, and we'll love to talk to you and talk about more of these aspects. I really love this plant, and we have so many of them in my house, and we'd love to see how is your jades growing in. Do send us pictures. I would love to see how is your jade performing, and is there any feedback we can give it to you. We will love to. So do share your photos also on our Instagram DM or on our YouTube channel, and we'll love to see them and give you feedback about it. So that's from our Know Your Plant series. Thank you so much for watching My Plant, My Baby. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, and also subscribe the button below, so that we keep reaching out to you more and keep giving you updates on different plants and their benefits and care. Bye-bye.